Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. I hope we're all doing really well. Today's going to be more of a talky video. I thought I'd just list off a few random things that I've over the past few months, I've been getting similar questions, and like they're all kind of mold into the same areas and topics. So yeah, I thought I'd address some of those today. I've got a big video coming up on Friday, but I'll be filming it on Friday. I'm going on another trip. That's all you're going to get on it so far. But yeah, that's enough on that. Let's get into this video. Okay, let's kick things off with tip number 1. And this isn't really a tip, it's more of like a mistake or just something that like people get confused about and they ask about quite often. And that is that you do not need to tune your percussion, okay? I've had this question asked a few times, mainly about the kick. The percussion doesn't. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. There is a 1 time out of 10, which I'll give an example of in a second. But most of the time it doesn't. The sound is a transient. If you open it up on Oddysee, and I'll show you actually. Well, let's use like a real common sound that everyone uses. Okay, let's take a listen to this sound. Let's open it in Edison. Okay, and then when you find a key of something, a lot of people will tell you to come into Edison, come to this flag, and go to pitch reasons, okay? If you see this C with a 0, that means it hasn't really got a tone, okay? It's that short of a sound that Edison can't pick up the pitch of that sound, okay? So don't worry about it. You don't need to go ahead and match the key with the root note of the beat to match all the percussion. You don't worry about it. Now, there is some situations where you may have to do that with percussive sounds, and that normally comes with perks, triangles, or bongos, or just sounds that are kind of long-tailed and have an obvious tone to them. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, that's a perk. Okay, that's a chime and a bell. That's in like the chimes and bells section of this old kit that I've got. Okay, let's open that up in Edison. Okay, so we do have a pitch right there. Okay, the predominant one seems to be F sharp. So when we're playing with that sound, we need to make sure that it is, we'd come into the sounds, we'll go over to this tool knob right here, and then we'd just make sure that we right click on the F sharp key. That way, whenever we play C, D sharp, whatever key we play that sound in, it's going to be in the right note. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have to do that. But it's really obvious when a sound has a tone and when it doesn't. And it's normally those short, standard trap sounds, they don't have a tone. So that is tip number 1. You don't need to tune your percussion. Tip number 2 of these random 5 tips is that rappers do not care if you use loops or samples. All they care about is the fact that they need a beat. They want to rap on a beat that they really vibe with, regardless of where the sounds have come from, regardless of who made the melody first or who made the drum loop or anything like that. Don't worry about rappers caring about you using a sample. I'll tell you who cares about people using samples is other producers, and they're not buying your beats, so you don't have to worry about that. There could be some situations, let's say for example you land like a major placement where the label need to clear a sample, then fair enough. If we're talking about strictly selling type beats and you use the loop from another producer, if it's 100% royalty free, all you've got to do is nothing. But if it isn't, then you just reach out to the producer, ask them how much they want for it. Or 9 times out of 10, if I use a loop, I just go 50-50. So yeah, that is tip number 2. Tip number 3, your beats are better off being longer than they are shorter. Some of you guys jump onto the live critiques that I've been doing, the live beat critiques, and sometimes, not often, but occasionally there'll be a beat on there that's only like a minute long or like a minute and a half long, and that's the full beat, you know, it's not just a snippet that they've sent. And I've said this in the stream, but I thought I'd address this as well, just for anybody watching, that your beats are better off longer, okay? And the reason why is that, let's say if you sell a beat and the rapper's in the studio, they're using that beat, and the beat is a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and the song they've written for that particular beat is about a 3-minute long song or a 3.5-minute long song, then it's way harder for them to extend the beat than it is for them to just fade the beat out once they're finished laying their vocals down. So always make the beat at least 2.5 minutes, if not longer. I'd normally go between 3 and 3.5 minutes. I've had it happen to me. I made a beat that was about 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that. But a few rappers have reached out and they've asked, like, can you just extend this beat by like an extra minute or extra 40 seconds so I can fit another verse in? So you're basically just creating more work for yourself, and it slows down their process as well. So yeah, make longer beats. Tip number 4, you do not need to master. If we are talking from the perspective of a beat maker who makes type beats, who wants to sell beats online, who wants to get some placements here and there, you don't need to master your beats. You just need to get them sounding clean, punchy, give it a clean mix, and make sure that it's nice and dynamic and there's some good space within that beat for them to get a vibe off of. Okay, now what I mean by getting a good mix is finish a beat, put all your sounds into the mixer, level them, do what you need to do to clean up the beat, put a soft clipper on the master, maybe add a bit of an EQ, bump up the highs, and that's it. You know, just make sure that the beat is nice and loud and punchy. You don't need to worry too much about adding compression here, multi-band compression here, all that kind of stuff. Early on, like, I really went down like the rabbit hole of trying to master a beat and getting it all, like, you know, getting everything perfect. But think about it, you've done like half the job. The rapper has to finish the beat off if you're selling beats and stuff. Then the rapper has to, you know, put their spin on it. So they need that space, you know, they need that space to put their vocals in it. Then the engineer can go ahead and master it. They can compress the vocals, they can squish down the beat a little bit to make it sit cleaner, and just add the finishing touches to the song as a whole, not just the beat. Good levels, good sounds, nice catchy beat, and just make it sound nice, man. That's literally all you gotta do. If you want to learn how to mix, I'll link a video down in the description or add a card here if I remember to do it. But yeah, you don't need to master. Now, okay, now the fifth tip is that it's okay to copy. It's okay to copy. Now, I don't mean it's okay to straight up copy somebody else's beat by stealing the loop and then putting the exact same drums on it. But what I mean is that it's okay to be inspired by a certain song or somebody else's beat and go ahead and try and like recreate that style in your own. This is what I do most of the time. Like seriously, I don't like have any ideas that are 100% original. It always stems from a song that I've heard that day, or a beat that I've been listening to, or one of my older beats that I really liked. Yeah, so yeah, don't be afraid to take inspiration from somewhere else and feel like you're stealing. You're not really copying, you're using your own sounds, you're putting your own bounce onto it, maybe a similar bounce, but it's still your own unique bounce. So yeah, don't be afraid to copy, man. And I've got like a bonus tip, and it's not really a tip, it's more of just like a long-term mindset. One thing that I've learned, I've been doing this for what, like 3-4 years, not that long, but I've been doing it for a little while. And the thing that I've noticed and have had the same opinion of from other producers who I've been speaking to, who have been going for around a similar amount of time, is that you just have to outlast people. You just have to have that like sort of rock solid mentality that you're going to be doing this for a long time. If you have that real like inner belief that you can do this for the long run, and when I say long run, I don't mean a couple of months and then you feel like you should be, you know, blowing up. I mean like you just have to be in the mindset to just think to yourself, I don't care how long this is going to take, I'm going to make this work somehow. And you just kind of figure out that process along the way. You hear a lot of producers, you hear a lot of rappers, you hear a lot of people in any kind of tutorial based thing when they say how to grow or how to be successful in a certain thing. They always say consistency is that cliche word, but I thought it would be more straight shooter to just say outlast everyone. I'm kind of stubborn, so it helps. So if I find myself lacking in motivation, I'm like, what are you doing, man? You should be outlasting people. So yeah, just have that in the back of your mind. It's kind of a competitive thing, but it's more like with myself. I'm not trying to outdo everybody else. I'm just trying to just keep this thing going, you know, 5-10 years down the line, still be doing really well. And another thing, and this is so true, is that I do not believe that I'm a great producer by any means. I can make some good beats. I've learned how to mix over time, but there are producers, and I've known this from the stream, there is way more producers that I believe are better than me at making beats. But the only difference is that I've been going for longer, or I've been more consistent over time, and that just kind of like pounding away at content and just, you know, cranking out beats has benefited me in the long run. It's just putting that work and, you know, putting in those hours. So yeah, that'll be my sort of bonus tip. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been a while since I've done like a bit of a talky video, but yeah, man, this was a good one. If you guys want any drum kits, beat selling courses, any loop kits, sample kits, MIDI kits, any of that good stuff, then head over to prodllb.com and jump on those. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for today. I'll see you in the next one.